thought I'd make another video. It is hot outside. It's hot in here, and it's very frustrating. Especially when you're like picking up all these pounds of bags and stuff, and it's just icky. Anyway, wanted to talk about a few things that's on my mind, and about this whole CNA stuff. So I enrolled in a CNA program, completed it, and finished the clinicals and passed. The academic part I aced. Okay, I still feel disappointed about that B I got, but I just enrolled in a class, and there was option 1 and option 2. Now, the option 2 gives me for patient care technician. I did that today, and that option 1 gives me a CNA class and a PCT class. Option 2 is PCT, CNA, phlebotomy, and EKG, and then you have a course where you go over the whole thing. And I thought to myself, I really want to learn phlebotomy and I want to learn EKG, but the objective right now is to get the patient care technician to work in a hospital setting. That's what's important. And I'll be national. But the thing is I have to think about the money that I have. I have to think about nutrition, and I haven't been really doing very much walking. I haven't been doing very much exercise, so I need to sort of get up and do some activities. So I consider that as a propelling way for me to think, okay, I go to school, I kind of do that, but I'm not really working. And if I ever take a medical assisting class for any kind of reason, I'll learn phlebotomy, EKG, all that there for sure. So, and I can also take a separate EKG, because to me, like, the reason I chose option 1 is because option 2 also is what they told me. Since I already took a CNA, I can cross that out. I can just take the other classes what I need. Well, option 1, I already completed CNA, just as like it has on there in option 2. But I'm going to cross it out, and then I'm going to take the PCT, and it's a 6-week course. It's only 6 weeks, and then I can just immediately go and jump on this exam. Then I'm ready to work. In the meantime, I can do PRN, get the experience I need, but if I chose option 2, the thing is I'm not intimidated by the studies. It's just I needed to focus what I think an overall picture is going to be, because the money that I have in that length of time to finish option 2 is quite a bit of time, and I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm going to be running really low on fuel, on funds, and it's going to be very, very tight on me. So I thought it would be, winter's coming up, it'll be good for me to start saving up some money, to sort of get situated, have some money in the bank for school. And if I get these PC2 and I get this CNA, I can go to an institute, because I don't have any money. There's no institute that's going to give me any money. There's nobody's going to give me nothing. So I have to come up with the money in order to be able to go to school. So if I get this CNA and I have a patient care technician and I complete that, I'll take this certificate in my GED, and I can go to an institute and I can say, look, I know, can you grant me a loan? A loan, what do you call them? Grants, loans, scholarships. I don't know what they call them. I think they're loans, right? A student loan, where it's like a minimum, I think, of like a minimum, and this is like really rounding down. I think it's like $10,000 for an LVN license. And I thought, when you go, there's people out there that they just jump to an LVN medical class without having any experience or a CNA license or anything like that. So I'm already a little bit ahead of the game here. Plus, I spent so much time, and when I was a kid in a nursing home. But for me, I think this would be really great because it'll give me sort of this, because no one's going to pay for the LVM. The only thing is the medical assisting class is. Medical assisting class is also an option over at Richland College, with Dallas College will pay for, but that is going to be a long shot for me. That's 10 months. That's 10 months. But I think the combination of the two will work beautiful for me. I can do PRN because this PCT will allow me to travel throughout the United States, you know, work in hospitals, and be very flexible because I have to think of what my opportunities. I've been living on the streets. I've lived on the streets for so many years, and I'm getting older. I'm not working out anymore, you know, and I have to think the reality of I could be sleeping out in the streets in 8 months from now again. Just because I'm getting the CNA license doesn't mean that I'll be sleeping in some dirty ass alley again in fucking, you know, in Colorado Springs, you know, or something like that. But I don't put really my mind to that. But I'm not saying anything's possible, you know. I can get sick, I get cancer. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, but I try to stay to the positive part of this. So my objective will be to get this completed, and the thing is that I did like about option one is that, you know, Richland College has a separate EKG class that you can just take alone, and it has a phlebotomy class that you can just take alone. You have a pharmacy class that you could just take alone. Like, it's just by itself. And I thought, well, it's supposed to be a stackable combination of the two. There's a lot of theories, I think, about the conversation and what all this stuff goes, but I'm trying to just sort of keep it simple-minded. You know, option two, you know, sort of compresses all those, and they weren't really elaborating any sense to me whenever I spoke to them on the phone, because I think I was catching on too quick, and I don't think they did like that because they're sort of doing something else. So, excuse me. Anyway, I think this would be really great. The only thing about the CNA license is if I leave out of state, I have to take a test and an exam, again, depending on what state I go to. I have to take the test again, and I have to take the clinicals again. So that's why I have to also spend time working on this book, the CNA book that we didn't do in class. It's just a book. So that is going to be something that is going to give me extra studying in. Now, what the circumstances of this is really making me think is option one that they told me is they initially told me they were sort of fibbling, you know, through their conversation, and it sounded like a bunch of. I think I know what's going to happen. I have some assumptions that some possibilities of things that might happen if everything goes through successful. This is the class, and if you look right here, you get option one, you get option two. I don't know if it's mirrored. You can see it may be difficult. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but anyway, option one, and then this is option two. Option two gives you these classes that you got to take. So this is EKG, phlebotomy, and this last one here is a review of all these courses. Well, they told me I can go ahead and eliminate the CNA class from this section, and all I have to do is focus on 1, 2, and 1, the phlebotomy, EKG, PCT, and then this. The option one, this here class, is I've already taken a CNA class. The one that's highlighted is the patient care technician. That's the class I want to take. So as you can see on here, you see the 1060. I believe that the 1060 is, or the 1040, I mean the 1001. So anyway, like I said, these classes here. So what I think, so since I've already taken a CNA class, I figured just go ahead and cross this out, you know, and just take this, because I already have a patient care technician. I mean, that's what I'm looking to study. I won't have to take this. but I don't. To my understanding, I know that they can really control anything and say anything they want to say. So what I think they're going to tell me is, oh, you choose option one. You don't have to. You have to retake that class if you're going to go take this whole package. They're not making any sense because I've had too many understanding and conversations with it. It sounds like they're lying. So because they told me I don't have to take it on option two because there's no option different option one from different option two. If I don't have to take it in option two, why am I going to have to not? So I've already had that. So what I think they're going to tell me is that they're going to I might, and this is what, there's a lot of other stuff that's going on. I think they're just going to go ahead and make me, I'm going to take the PCT class, then I'm going to have to go take the CNA class all over again. But I don't have to take the test and exam, but I'm going to have to be there to get credit for the class. And there's a lot of symptoms and situations, because I heard one of the girl students or one of the students that was in the class say, yeah, you're going to have to take the class again, or something like that. But I don't know what the circumstances is. I hope it's not, and that shouldn't be the case, because I did remember, I did speak to the person over the phone, but they were very jaded into what conversation of what everything they were talking about. So I'm just going to do whatever the best I can is to focus best on that. Plus, I have to spend another $100. I don't know if I have to pay for books, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to probably buy another book or two. So that's going to be at least probably another $50. And then I have to pay another $97. So I have to pay like probably $150 right off the top. And that is for the drug screen, background check all over again. Once that is complete, it goes through. Boom, they tell me when your classes start. I'm ready to go. And in the meantime, from now until September 1st, I'm working at a PRN or working full-time at a nursing home, a rehabilitation center. What I was thinking that I might want to try to do is do a PRN at a rehabilitation center and then a PRN at a nursing home. Because then that way I can get a little bit of this type of experience and a little bit of this type of experience. But if I don't know, if I can't get the hours, I'm just going to go like at 8 hours, whatever, do a 12-hour shift or something like at a rehabilitation. Because I don't think I've never worked at a rehabilitation center, so that'll be kind of new to me. It'll be a little bit more lightweight, to my understanding, because most of it is just, not most of it, but to my understanding, people from the hospitals make recovery and stuff like that. So it's not particularly nursing homes. Nursing homes, most of the time, people never go home. They never recover unless their families pick them up and take care of them. But that's the end of that. But as far as me going to in-home care, that's probably something that I don't want to do right now at this minute. I have to get the experience, the professional setting. That's going to be the best environment for me to be in for later down the road of the education and environment, what my outlook is going to be. Outcome. So I was thinking it'll leave me a good grip of money. I have some, but the thing is about these two, about option one class, I forgot to say, they're both. I already talked to this guy Tim at El Centro College, and he told me, and he said both classes are at Cedar Valley. So if I do have to take a CNA class again, it'll be with a different teacher. I have no choice. I'll have to go through it all over again, but I'm just focused on this patient care technician. When I get done with this class, if God allows me to complete this class, I have the EKG and phlebotomy to take as an option. It's a separate 6-7 week course. I have the EKG separately that I can do, and so I think knowledgeable of all the things that I'll be doing is perfect. I think it's going to work better for me. So, because let's just say for some reason I'm going to take a medical assisting class, I'm going to learn all that stuff in a medical assisting class for 100% for sure. The only thing is that I'll go over it again and it'll be a lot easier. So that's the only thing, that's the edge that I may be missing out on. But I think that if I go from this, after completing a patient care technician, to just jumping into an LVN, that's going to be like, because I have to have, like, it'll give me the chance to start working in the field, not waste time, too much more time, and I'd be like, look, okay, I'm gonna save up some money. I have to have a good grip of comfortable money, meaning I have like $2,000. My rent is paid just for food, and I have my bus fare already covered. I have, snacks out in the streets. Get a taco out in the streets or something like. But I have the comfortable ability of just I have my nutritional meal there, and I don't really go to movies anymore. I haven't gone to watch a movie in a long time, but it'll allow me to save a little bit of money and have a place where I feel okay. I'm not gonna if I get kicked out or something goes wrong, but because an LVN is 12 to 18 months. You have to have in order for me to enroll in a class like that, you 100% have to have a comfortable environment for that long, and a focused environment. Study. It is not, a Passover. It's not that. I'm gonna have to be in a very steady, well state of mind and environment for me to study that and comfortable and not worry about anything. Because I'm not sure if I'm really because I'll be going there full time, and I'm not sure full time. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that's at least 4 days a week, probably 5 or 6 hours. I don't even know what full time is for an LVN, but I don't think I'll have time to be able to work and study. At least some people I think have the ability to, but I don't think I will. I think I will have to really put to the pedal to the metal when it comes to studying. So that's the sort of hypothesis of what I would like, and I think that would be really great for me for now. There's also one other thing I want to talk about. Would I ever apply for Children's Medical Center as a CNA? I could do that right now. Not right now, for me. And I have to have quite a bit of experience if I were to do something like that, and I think it'd be really great. I used to go to Children's Medical Center all the time with my aunt. I could go there, maybe do like a PRN. Working in Children's Medical Center, that is like a climax. It's some of the most difficult because you see kids that are like, 8 years old, and they're like, they're sick, and some of them are going to die. Some of them are very ill, and you can always make the most magical place of everything you can, but doesn't change the reality of that life and death still occur, and it's very sad and tragic when a child is so innocent and goes through something like that. But I would have to work in rehabilitation experience and some out in the field work experience to earn a paycheck, and then a patient care technician, and then work. But I wouldn't do that until probably way down the road, because right now I got kind of a lot of stuff that's going on. I have to figure out whether I'm going to eventually do an assignment for the patient care. I know that the medical temporary agencies would probably really love that. The fact that I have a patient care technician license and a CNA, they would really probably love that. So I think that would be really great. And wherever they send me, I want to ask them what states and cities I'm going to go to. If they don't go to a city and state that I don't like, then I just go there myself and figure it out for my own. And then when I get there, then I'll do a medical assistance, a temporary assignment. But I don't know yet if I'll go over here, over there. I don't know yet. So, but I wanted to say one of the things also is to work in a burn unit. Okay, I know they need CNAs there, and that is I'm not very familiar with the burn units, but the burn units they're very specifically designed for people that are severely burned, car wrecks, house fires, work accidents, and it's some of the worst of suffering that you can imagine when people get burned, like horrifically. and that is something that I need, and it's something that I would like to do at some point. At some point, to go there, to see the reality of not just see the reality, but to work, get the work experience, to work in that environment for a little while. Because there's a lot of different fields and different environments that you can work in as an LVN, as a medical assistant, as a CNA, but I think that would be, I think it'd be really great. I think it would. It would be very humbling, made me think of God a lot more, and I think it would be healthy because, we relate as human beings so much on the outside, and we're all like that. I think myself, I'm no different. But when people get horrifically disfigured, the way that I don't want to go into too many details, but it is wrenching, because it's not just the pain, but what that person what that existence is to that brain, and to that mind, to that human being, and that individual, to the soul experience, to what you think soul is, and it entirely changes. That it is catastrophically. I don't believe that it can be interpreted, because for us that born, with what we're born with, whether you got a little bit of more, a little bit of less, you're not disfigured to roam around in the world in the reality like that. And it's beyond anything that, in my opinion, if I were to go into conversations of what that really did, what you can come close to what that does to a human being. But I think it is a part of reality. It could have happened to me. It could happen to anyone else. There's also veterans. I know that they have. I don't think there's any wars and stuff like that. That they probably have secret missions. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, in fact, I know they're always having secret missions all the time. We just don't ever hear about it because we don't watch the news a lot of the times. But there's always like these little minor missions they got. They got something going on in South Africa or like Colombia, and they send a group of 120 Navy SEALs or something like that, and they go into like a cartel area and they have like a big gun war or something. There's stuff like that. So, but is there any type of CNA ability or patient care technician that I could work at a wound center for veterans? Yeah, I'd be able to work there. I'd go for it for sure. There's no doubt I would. To go out there and experience and see what that is, come across any soldiers that may be wounded, stuff like that, and cater to them what my job description is there to be, what I'm supposed to be doing there. So, the reality of combat, that would be some wonderful experience for me to be around. Very honoring, I think, in my opinion. But I still have to look at it. I'm trying to get ahead of myself, because, during from this month to the September, I also got. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna complete the 24 hours in service education that I need to complete. That's supposed to cost $80. The other one I think is free, but it's kind of sketchy because, I don't know. I feel more better paid for the $80 to get the full modules and the test, because the other one is like 2 hours short. But I don't know how that goes. So if I complete these 24 hours in service, let's just say over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I work at least one day, that means that the minute I go back to school, September 1st, do you know what's ready? For the next 4 years, I will not have to worry about a CNA license getting expired. For 4 years, I'm guaranteed my license. I have my anybody can always lose their license, but you're guaranteed a license. I'm guaranteed for 4 years. I don't have to worry about anything. That's a good grip of time. I have my 1 day at work and I have my 24 hours, and take care of that. And so I can do that ahead of time so that whenever my 2 years come up that I have to renew, I'll be like, look, I can finish my modules 18 months ago, and here you go. Yeah, I finished my months. So I'm good for 4 years. I just have to pay the small, I think it's like $150 fee, and I don't have to do anything. I just give them the paperwork, pay $150, and for 4 years, from now to 4 years, I have a CNA license. So I can go to work, figure out what I'm going to do next, because I never know what's going to happen. And it's not to say that I won't be able to go to school. I just don't know what's going to happen. I can't put my promises on that. I put all the ambition, I'm doing my best, and I hope to God that I can, but that's what's going to happen. I don't know what can happen, but that's what I'm kind of just driving my goals and dreams toward. That's going to be most important, because working in the field after the 6 weeks or after the 2 6 weeks I complete, and I get a patient care technician, I have both. I'll work at a PRN 1 day a week in a nursing home, and then 4 days a week in a hospital, and I get to work in different hospitals. Remember, not all hospitals are built the same. Some are a little bit different settings, different designs. They do a little bit different things. They use a little bit different equipment. So it'll really give me a huge virtual look at everything that's sort of going on with, okay, so if I'm an LVN, I could do this, if I go ahead and jump on a medical assistant. The only thing is, if I were to do a medical assisting class, especially since it's Richland College, I can't really get out of it saying that, oh, okay, I did a medical assisting, see if I could jump over to an LVN. There isn't, I don't think, a cross bridge or a bridge from a medical assistant certificate to an LVN. If I go to medical assisting, I stay with a medical assisting. I don't mind going over to my patient care technician and CNA at all, getting an LVN or medical assisting. It's just medical assisting is 10 months, and that's a very, very long time to spin, and then just, okay, I want to do an LVN, because there's not a bridge. If I get a medical assistant, I want to make sure there's a bridge to the LVN. Otherwise, I should probably just jump to the LVN. That may be best for me. Plus, I have to finish the TSI. That's another thing I got to do. So it allowed me to work, allowed me to study, figure out the TSI, because if I can complete the TSI and the reading and math, and I'm probably going to have to study. I'm going to have to study the math again. That's going to take some time, and then keep trying to pass the test. If I pass those tests, then I'm ready to go to an actual college. So that will be an upgrade for me massively, so I can skip a lot of other stuff. So that's kind of what's going on right now. I thought I'd make a quick video on this, and I'll keep y'all posted about what's going on, because I turned in the application today. I should probably hear something within 5 business days or so, probably no more than 5 business days, maybe 7 or 8. But I don't know yet. I turned in the application today. Today's the 7th, so I should hear something by the 15th, and everything should go well. So hopefully it'll be sooner, but they're deciding everything, if it's going to have a big delay, and it shouldn't be any delay at all, because they know who I am, and there's not that many applications, and they are getting paid to do that job. They have more than enough, plenty of work to look to say, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what this, because I've been in the printing field for a long time, and I was always looking over paperwork all the time. I know if I can do that, then you should be able to go through this application process, and it should not take very long. You can get all that stuff done probably in a single day. At least 4 or 5 different students' applications. There may be a lot of applications, but how many students are actually enrolling in class? There's 15 open right now. So that's what's kind of going on. I'll let y'all know updates here soon, within a week or so, but I'll keep making some videos.